morning and welcome to the LNG Marketplace Weekly News Flash. Here is the latest news we have selected for you from all over the media. Gas has released its Medium and Long-Term Natural Gas Outlook 2019. The report highlights the LNG's crucial role to support the energy transition. According to the report, from 2017 to 2040, the natural gas demand will grow by 40%, mostly driven by Asia. The U.S. is forecasted to lead the global expansion of LNG supply and will play a growing influence on the global gas balance and international pricing. You can find the complete report on www.sedegas.org. Total, together with the Beninois Electric Power Company and the Republic of Benin, have signed an agreement to supply Benin with LNG for 15 years beginning in 2021. This piece of news we found on African Law and Business. And another piece of news from Africa found on seafrica.com. A construction of an LNG project of a consortium led by U.S. multinational Anadarko kicks off in Mozambique. The project is located under the Rovuma Basin and will make Mozambique the largest producer and exporter of gas in Africa. Export should start in late 2024 or early 2025. U.S. major ConocoPhillips is thought to be mulling a potential sale of large gas assets in northern Australia that could bring about radical overhaul of both the multi-billion-dollar Darwin LNG plant and its Barossa gas venture. While conversation in the early stage, sources say Conoco is considering a complete exit from both the LNG plant and the gas field. More you can read on Australian Finance Review. Hapag-Lloyd wants the maritime world to learn from its first world conversion of large container ships Zahir to LNG in what is called a pilot project for the entire industry. The biggest challenges which were identified include integrating the LNG tank into the existing structure, the coordination of the multiple stakeholders, and the tight schedule. This piece of news we found on Riviera Maritime. And another design project mentioned in the news, the Japanese shipmaker K-Line, along with the Nomura Shipbuilding, has secured approval from DNVGL for the concept design of an LNG-fueled ore carrier. The project complies with both environmental and operational requirements. Based on the second-generation WASMAX, the registered brand of Nomura Shipyard, as we read on technology.com. Mitsui OSK Lines and COSCO Shipping Energy Transportation signed an agreement to develop the joint cooperation for future LNG and ethane carrier projects, as stated on cnews.co.uk. Indonesia's Donggala Senora LNG is considering a cut in its spot market sales for the rest of the year due to low prices, reversing a previous decision to boost sales outside its contracted volumes. The company has sold 6 out of 11 uncommitted LNG cargoes on the spot market so far, but it may hold back from further spot sales if LNG prices remain low. This we read on S&P Global Platts. According to Reuters, an inexorable decline in spot market prices for LNG is also pushing utilities in Japan to be more aggressive in price reviews built into traditional long-term contracts linked to oil prices. The utilities are looking to buy more LNG on the spot market, where prices are around half the average contract import price for buyers in Japan. Also, India's top gas importer, Petronet LNG, will consider renegotiating its long-term supply deals to secure lower LNG prices if spot prices remain weak for 2 to 3 years. Price decline is driving some buyers in Japan and China to request delays in term cargoes or lifting lower volumes under their term contracts, as stated on Finance Yahoo. Papua New Guinea signaled backing from a previous agreed LNG deal with French oil major Total, although some terms still need negotiating. The Papua LNG deal was agreed in April, but was put up for review following a political crisis. The joint venture between Total, ExxonMobil, and Australia's Oil Search was to set double the country's export of LNG. You can read more on Reuters. As stated on Hellenic Shipping News, the second of the Baltic Exchange LNG assessments goes live on the 13th of August following successful trials and approval by Baltic Exchange Index Council. BLNG-3, Sabine Tokyo round voyage with routing via Panama, is now available to members and subscribers at www.balticexchange.com. Natural gas futures were trading sharply lower last Monday as analysts were monitoring a significant drop-off in LNG feed gas demands. Along with production reaching new heights, A drop in deliveries to Cheniere Energy's Sabine Pass and Corpus Christi LNG terminals was one of the main stories. More analysis you can read on naturalgasintelligence.com. As stated on LNG Industry, Occidental Petroleum Corp has announced the successful completion of its acquisition of Anadarko Petroleum Corporation in transaction valued at $55 billion, including the assumptions of Anadarko's debt. And last but not least, Chevron has launched one of the world's largest carbon capture and storage projects ever undertaken by the industry, injecting CO2 into a deep reservoir under an island off Western Australia as its Gorgon LNG project. The carbon storage project was delayed by more than 2 years due to problems with valves and pipeline equipment. The facility will reduce Gorgon's emission by 40% over the life of the project. This piece of news we found on Reuters. That's it for this week. Tune in next week for more news, and until then, thanks for tuning in.